Yo, Henry, average use Slo-Pitch. Today we're getting a chance to bring out two of the newer Mikens they've dropped out there. Both long barrels, so we figured, hey, let's throw them on the same video. First up, we've got the Miken FreakZilla. This is a USA ASA bat there. And then we've got the all-new Miken DC41. This is a U-trip bat. So with that being said, we're going to start out with the FreakZilla. Obviously 52s only here with this one. As soon as we get done with that, we'll swap over to the 52s here on the Miken, since we've already got them out. We're throwing them anyways. Once we get the 52s knocked out of the Miken, we'll go ahead, swap over to the Pro M's, and then from there, we'll come back with final compression on both of them and final thoughts. Today we're at a different field. We don't come out here too often. This is Centennial High School's practice field. So what we've got for the dimensions here is basically right at 300 down the lines, just beyond 300 to center, but basically pretty much 300 all the way around. But certain days of the week here, with some limiting factors we've got with fields, we've got to just use what we can. So that's what you're going to see here. Hopefully the sun will stay behind those clouds for a while so it doesn't mess with the camera too bad. But either way, let's go ahead and get our swings on here. And like I said, we'll come back with final compression, final thoughts. All right, first up for our Miken long barrels, we got the 13.5-inch Miken FreakZilla. Yep, this is our ASA one. I'll give you the conversion here momentarily. This one has to be at 1050 for passing on the nonlinear list. Sorry, bumped the camera. And we're sitting right at about 180, we'll call it there. So at 180, 185, whatever it might be. 184 is 1300, 178 is 1275. So either way, passing, plenty of wiggle room. We'll go ahead and get our 52s on there and then come back with final compression, final thoughts on that one, as well as a obviously conversion for you there. And the next up is the USSSA model, the 14-inch, or sorry, also 13.5-inch. Sorry, misspoke. DC41. This one can be found on Miken's website, and I think that's about the only place. I think it's a Miken exclusive. Let that sit there. And about 260, 265. So either way, both of them well over passing. We'll get our swings on them, come back with final compression, final thoughts. All right, again, the FreakZilla. I don't know if I mentioned the intro, but 13.5-inch barrel, max load. We're going to see how this thing performs, obviously, here with 52s.
95 miles per hour.
Ooh, that's got a nice sound there. You can tell it's a non-linear bat.
90 miles per hour.
Yeah, you can definitely hear it's almost like a clack sound, similar to what you'd get with Monster on this non-linear. But even early on, I mean, it had plenty of compression to go, as you saw in the beginning, but definitely a good feel. Ball's coming off it pretty nice. And honestly, not making the greatest of contact yet.
103 miles per hour.
Yeah, there's our sweet spot. And you get really good feedback. You can tell, not only from the sound, but you get different feels on the hands based on where you're making contact, which is obviously ideal to let you know, obviously, how the bat's performing for you.
90 miles per hour.
And that's low on the barrel. And still good carry. So with the long barrel, so far we're seeing good sweet spot performance there. And obviously super forgiving, which is what you want. It's kind of the goal, obviously, if you're gonna go with a longer barrel. But it'll be interesting to see how that sweet spot opens up more, and if we get closer to that top end performance that you get from like the shorter barrels.
102 miles per hour.
Yeah, there's our sweet spot. When you get a sweet spot, there's almost no feel in the hands. You just get a sound and just where you can tell the ball's just kind of jumping off. And then the more and more you move either direction from the sweet spot, you get a little more feel in the hands, but not by no means, regardless where we caught it. And I've got a ball mark here, lower on the barrel, and a ball mark up here. No sting, which is good.
97 miles per hour.
Yeah, very consistent. I mean, we're getting good speeds off the sweet spot. Obviously good forgiveness. Not a huge drop off, still high 90s with pretty much everything. With lift, you see a little bit of a drop off as expected, but the ball carries good. But what really matters is, and with this kind of glossier paint we've seen in the past, like the Bedlam this year, we've seen those slightly down ticks in exit velo, which again, doesn't really matter, especially if you get good carry.
98 miles per hour.
Ooh, a little 90 knuckle action.
96 miles per hour.
Yeah, seems to be a good stopping point there, but yeah, so FreakZilla, you saw the swings kind of there from everybody. I mean, it's got a good sound, good feel, definitely forgiving option there, which you would expect again out of 13.5. Good overall sweet spot, very consistent. And then with that, this is a 26 with that max load. You can tell the unload's there, but it's definitely not overly pronounced, which sometimes you get with the longer barrels. So I'd stick with the weight you normally swing. But either way, we'll go ahead, like I said, move over to the DC41, get our 52s there, Pro M's, and when we're done, we'll get compression on both of them. Final thoughts. All right, now I got the Miken DC41. Again, obviously USSSA stamped. This is also 13.5 inch. This one's a Super Max, so you got that 4 ounce end load. Start with 52s, hop over to Pro M's, and then we'll wrap it up with final compression, final thoughts.
97 miles per hour. 93 miles per hour.
Yeah, so it's got pretty decent carry. With the longer barrel, with the 52s, obviously not what it's designed for. You get a pretty decent feel off the sweet spot, but it is a softer overall feel, so a little hard to tell exactly where you're making contact. Like I said, ball's coming off pretty good. When you catch high or low, you get that stiffer feel because obviously you've missed, which I think is actually helping to perform with the softer balls. But the longer barrel with that full end load, not sure it's really going to be a great option for 52s, but we'll get a few more and then hop over to the Pro M's.
90 miles per hour. 98 miles per hour.
Yeah, I think that's all we need to see there at the 52s. Obviously, we talked about it. Let's hop over to the Pro M's, see how it performs, and then we'll talk about both of them in the final thoughts. All right, on to the Pro M's with our DC41.
105 miles per hour.
Well, there's what we were waiting for. Obviously, hits the balls that it's supposed to hit pretty well.
104 miles per hour.
Whew. And again, these fences are only 300, but that thing stayed on the line. Got here in a hurry. Probably hard to see because, as you can tell, that sun's coming down in left field. Hopefully not mess with the camera too bad.
108 miles per hour.
Yep, there's the sweet spot. It's got a really nice sound. Almost reminds me of not quite the OG DC4, or I say OG, not quite the 220 DC41s, but for what we're used to with kind of the 240s, it's definitely got more of a unique sound. Good sweet spot so far, and still good forgiveness.
106 miles per hour.
Yes, sir.
97 miles per hour.
There's a slight miss. But yeah, that was a little bit higher up of the sweet spot. I'm gonna guess closer to kind of the 4 in DC41, but you get a stiffer feel a little bit on the hands, not quite a sting, just that stiffer overall feel, but so far good carry either way.
96 miles per hour.
Whoo, buddy. And we're getting a little bit of a breeze kicking up today as the sun goes down, which is different than we normally get. But as you can see there, a little bit of wind we have. Swirling somewhere towards kind of first base dugout, towards home. So at least on this somewhat smaller field than usual, we don't have assistance.
107 miles per hour.
Let's say 107 knuckler is a good place to stop. But yeah, I really like it overall. I mean, it's a good feel for sure for somebody who wants that heavier end load. Even with a full ounce, I would say it doesn't feel too much heavier than a half ounce. This is a 27, so I mean what I normally swing, but not so much end load that you have to worry about the bat head dip and anything like that. But it definitely helps it through the zone. Nice easy swings, good sweet spot, good forgiveness, good sound, which I know for a lot of people matters. One of the reasons I think I really like the Juno MR1 is the sound piece of it as well. But either way, let's go ahead. We'll pick up these balls, take both bats back, throw them on the tester, see how they finish, and then final compression, final thoughts. All right, we're swings complete here on our long-barreled Mikens. That's what we're going with here. Obviously, this first one, the FreakZilla, is our ASA model, so we'll run the conversion here momentarily. Let that get to 0. And the FreakZilla is still sitting just a hair under 220. So on our list, that puts us at, we'll call it 219, which is perfect for the conversion list, 1450. So we still got wiggle room here on this one. Again, this is a linear. I don't remember the number exactly offhand. I believe it was 1150 on this one. Either way, we know we've got wiggle room there. And honestly, like I talked about, it had a real good sound, good feel. And this lets us know that there's still that wiggle room to break it in. And then the USSSA model, the Miken DC41, another fun one. I know the DC41 name's been around for a while. It was nice to see a drop come out this year. I think this is still exclusive to Miken, if I'm not mistaken. So the Miken.rawlings.com website. And this one is sitting like dead on 240. And that's right at about just under 100 swings total. I will quarter turn to see if we get a different mark on that side of the barrel. You can see the ball marks. This side was also hit. We try to rotate the barrel as evenly as we can. Try to make sure we're remembering to do that. That's sit at 0. Yeah, and this side's actually at like 225, 230. So with that being said, the 70-ish Pro-Ms mixed with our 30, 52, somewhere around there. Probably too many for this one, but again, it felt pretty good straight out of the wrapper. Definitely didn't need a lot of swings. I've talked about before, if you get those bats that start sub 260, my recommendation is purely 52s for BP. I understand everyone owns 52s, so if you don't, I'd go out there and maybe 20-ish swings with Pro-Ms just to get a feel for it. And if you can, and you want to kind of open the fibers up, make the first 20 swings like that 50, 75%, just kind of make it contact, rotating the barrel, and then give yourself 10, 15 swings where you just kind of swing away, put them in the bag. They'll last for a long time. I use my Juno MR1 as a perfect example. The ones we demo, we never get 100 swings out of them in the video without them failing. Currently, I've yet to have an MR1 fail on me within about 5 or 6 tournaments. So you factor in the number of swings you get there, and it plays a different part from BP to game swings. But we'll talk about that more in the final thoughts. All right, and that's going to wrap it up for our USA ASA Miken FreakZilla. This was that 13.5-inch max load, and then the Miken USSSA DC41. This is the 13.5-inch barrel super max, so full ounce end load, half ounce here. And all in all with both these, and again, yes, we know we got a U-trip bat and a USA bat on the same video, but we've been pretty swamped with tournaments, things like that. Wanted to get some of this footage out for you guys, so we figured, hey, why not go with 2 of the Miken long barrels and just kind of see how each one performs, get us a chance to get them out there and get a video out for you guys. And so real briefly, not to keep this as short as possible, with the FreakZilla, we talked about it kind of from swing number 1. This thing had a really good sound, 13.5-inch barrel. You expect the forgiveness. You get it out of this one, but you also still get a really good sweet spot with kind of that nice clack sound that you're almost accustomed to getting out of like the Monsters and the Piers. Obviously, you don't get kind of the fib or pad feel because it doesn't have one in there. But with the feedback, you get really good feedback on whether or not you caught kind of center barrel. And then as you get away from that sweet spot without getting kind of the sting in the hands, which is really nice. But definitely a good option for anyone who's been in the market for a USA ASA bat. Maybe you've been kind of waiting on some restocks from Pier, from Monster, whatever it might be. Or maybe you're just a fan of the Mikens, Eastons, whatever other brands it might be, and you're just not a Monster person, not a Pier person, Axe, whatever other brands, and you've just been kind of looking for that next Miken bat. This is definitely going to be a good option for you there. And then from the AAA side, I know I was hoping we could get PK out there. DC41 is one of his favorite bats of all time. He really wanted to swing this one, but he's had some stuff, been pretty busy. But either way with this one, kind of same thing we talked about the FreakZilla, 13.5-inch barrel with that 1 ounce end load. The nice part is you can definitely feel the end load in this thing, but it's not so pronounced that you got to worry about kind of the bat head dipping, anything like that. The one we were swinging again today is a 27 ounce. So for me, I normally swing 27. This felt just fine. I would stick with your normal sticker weight, but a really good sweet spot with great feedback. And again, that 13.5-inch barrel gives you all the forgiveness you can need. A really good option out there for anyone that's looking for, again, those longer barrels. You want the end load. Maybe you're not a fan of kind of the 12 and a half that are out there. Been looking for a 1 ounce end load, whatever it might be. But either way, definitely a good option that gives you good performance with both the 52s and the Pro-Ms. The feedback was a little bit misleading at times, the 52s, but again, it's a USSSA bat. It's not really what they're designed for, but I do know some people have to play with kind of those softer, older U-trip balls or even USA ASA balls, 52 300s when they're in leagues, things like that, but still want a good U-trip bat they can use. This is definitely one you could go with for either kind of those situations as well. But with that being said, both of these I think are still available. Well, I know this is still available over on Miken's site. I think the FreakZilla is sold out, so you might have to find this one private sale. Not sure if they have a plan for the restock on this one, but if you see one of these out there, you've been looking for one, like I said, definitely a good option for you there. Don't have any discount codes for either of these, but if you find them on a site, you want to see if we can get you kind of a discount. We got a bunch of connects, a bunch of different places, so don't hesitate to reach out. Do my best to get you squared away. Try to find you a discount code or at least a rep who can help you out either way. But hopefully this kind of helped you decide if these are bats you're going to be kind of looking for in the market, especially if, again, you're somebody who's been looking for kind of those longer barrel bats, with there being a lot of those 13, 12.75, 12 and a half, 12-inch releases this year. These are definitely some options to look at on both the USA ASA side and USSSA side. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully it was informative for you and kind of helped you decide on what your next kind of purchase is going to be. As always, don't hesitate to reach out. Rankings on all these are going to be on the averagedude Slo-Pitch.com, as well as a contact us page if you want to get a hold of us, talk shop, need help picking up gear, whatever it might be, there's also a link to the link tree down in the description. That's going to have a whole bunch of links, codes for discounts on a bunch of different gear, not just slow pitch related, baseball, fast pitch, whatever it is you might need. But don't hesitate to reach out as always. Appreciate supporting the channel. Have a great day.